talking about this Normandy story, and think about this for a second. Think about, so the legislature is debating, there's only a few days left in the legislative session. The legislature is debating a bill that would lessen the amount of kids who can transfer out of the Normandy school district. So you read a story about how it's completely dysfunctional, and you're going to sign and pass a law that forces kids to go back to that school? So the law said, hey, you're in a dysfunctional school, you can leave. So then, after all the court battles, the kids now leave. Then you say, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. That costs way too much money. Let's say only some people can leave. Okay. Oh, really? Okay, well, that's fair under the law. So it costs way too much to send you to a school district that isn't failing. So we'll pass a law that says, well, most of you have to stay there. Could you imagine? This is where the African American community should be stopping traffic on Main Street. Because think about this for a second. You have a child who's heading into their senior year, and your child is an honor student, and they take advanced placement classes, right? And they're on the path to go to college, and they're planning on taking honors classes. And you show up for the first day of school, and you're told as a parent, I'm sorry, there are no honors classes this year. And oh, by the way, some of the classes that your little Johnny will be taking, the teacher's not accredited to actually teach that class. Now, what would you do as a lily white parent in St. Louis suburbia? You wouldn't even go the next day. You would take off work that day, go up to the school, and you would stand in front of the principal's office, and I'll bet you dollars to donuts the next day they would be offering up those classes, and they would have a teacher who was accredited to teach your little Johnny. But in Normandy, guess what? 5 weeks to go in the school district, still no honors classes, still no teachers accredited to teach the classes that are there, and only after a St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter does the legwork to actually tell the story, then and only then does Governor Nixon come out and say, oh my God, this is terrible. That's racism right there. That's the difference. And so we can all argue over Michael Brown and a white police officer shooting a black teenager, the reasons why, and so on and so forth. But there's nobody out there that can argue that point with me, that if this happened in Kirkwood or in Webster Groves or, yes, Francis Howell or Cottleville or any other place, right, where it's not white, where you have middle-class parents, whether white or black, it just wouldn't happen. But in Normandy, where the parents are either non-existent, working 6 jobs, or don't even realize that they could actually go up to the school and complain and actually demand this, these kids are left to fail. And every single person involved. This story, unfortunately, is the defining story of our region. Now, the other ones are sort of the symptoms, right? Whether it's the tickets or the police or the this or the that or whatever else. But if you are not educating your children and you're forcing them to go to a bad school, even the good kids, and you're not educating the good, this is a good kid. This isn't a bad kid who's a troubled teen who the teachers can't do anything with. This is an honor student that she profiled in this story. He stayed, right? He stayed. He said, no, I believe in my community. I want to go to school here. I want to go to school where I live. I have friends here. Whatever the reasons, this crazy teenager wanted to go to school in Normandy because he wanted to be by his friends, his family, and his neighbors and everybody else, and it was only a 5-minute ride to school. He was the good one. He was getting good grades. And the school completely failed him. But Governor Nixon has time to go to Afghanistan and hold a news conference and say terrorism is the new normal, while this kid sat in a classroom in Normandy with no teacher to speak of. It is the most shameful thing I have ever seen this state do. And what's even more shameful is the next day she writes the story about everyone's finger pointing. And by golly, in 1 month, we're going to have this turned around. In 1 month, the school system is over. You're going to tell me that Elisa Crouch is the only one who knew this? The teachers knew it. Superintendents knew it. Is there not a good teacher in that school that would have rang the bell? I mean, somebody finally dropped a dime and told Alyssa. However she found out the story, somebody finally came to her and talked. Or she finally found someone who talked. But the superintendent, the art of the story today, oh, my goodness, boy, now that you mention it, I have seen some of these things. And, I've looked at all these things, and, boy, this is terrible. This needs to change. Unbelievable. Let's go to Steve. Steve in Shrewsbury on the Big 550 KTRS.
Actually, let's go to Jeff.
Let's go to Jeff. Jeff, you're on KTRS Radio.
There's only one fix for this and that police issue that you had the guy talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is it. Total consolidation of the city and the county, and maybe even out there taking you guys in too. St. Charles County, and the haves are going to have to suck it up and help the have-nots.
Well, I don't know if consolidating governments solves the problem tomorrow.
Well, no, but
maybe that's a long term. Yeah, look. There's no question why you have 90 towns and 60 different police departments. There's no question that's. Talk about dysfunction. But before we get there, we don't even put we're walking around naked. Right? This is an emergency of epic proportions.
I agree, and it's too late for this school year.
No. See, when you call a state of emergency, again, pretending I'm the governor, I tell whoever my attorneys are in the office, you figure out a way to keep that school open. The school year is not ending in 5 weeks.
Well, this is the same governor who screwed up last year.
This is the same
state of emergency.
Well, This is a man who, vetoes a bill saying we can't do this to our poor children. Look at what you're doing to our poor children while claiming to be helping our poor children.
It's a joke.
It's unbelievable. Jeff, thanks for the phone call. It is unimaginable what this story has done. But what's even more unimaginable is the lack of outrage. That's just. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Where is anybody of any leadership saying, this one's at fault, that one's at fault. We need to rethink this. Boy, we've had some. Boy, this is really bad. How is this going to change? Because everything they're saying is saying, boy, this is terrible. Boy, this shouldn't happen. Well, what are you doing to make sure this doesn't happen? As the legislature passes a bill saying more kids should be going to Normandy School District. More kids should be locked into the Normandy School District. But the state law says if you're in a failing school district, you can leave. I got to go.